Welcome back to Maintenance Monday. In this video, I'm going to explain how to adjust and index your gears on Shimano's latest Di2 group sets, the Shimano Dura-Ace R9200 group set and the R8100 group set. Let's do it. Thankfully, it's a fairly simple process to adjust the gears on Shimano's latest group sets, although it does differ very slightly from the previous generation Di2. So the first thing you need to know is that the shift or function button is now located on the rear derailleur itself. And the first thing that we need to do to prep the bike and get ready to adjust the rear derailleur is to shift into the fifth sprocket down from the top. So that's the fifth one down from our largest sprocket on the cassette. This is the position that the rear derailleur should be in when we're going to adjust and index the gears at the back of our bike. To put the system into the adjustment mode, we need to press and hold the function button on the rear derailleur for between 3 to 5 seconds. This will cause the small LED to illuminate and change colour to yellow. That will indicate that the system is in its adjustment mode. Now at this point, we can pedal the bike and decide whether we need to adjust the indexing to move the derailleur inboard or outboard. To do so, we use the buttons on our shifter. By making a single press on the gear button that changes into a harder gear, we'll move the derailleur slightly outboard. And then we can keep pedaling and adjust the system until we don't have any sort of clicking or noise coming from the rear derailleur. So the reason we need to make these small adjustments or micro changes in the position of the rear derailleur is to simply make sure the upper pulley is perfectly in line with the sprockets on our cassette. This will help reduce any unwanted transmission noise and also mean that the gear changes are crisp and precise. Once you're happy with the adjustment and the position of the rear derailleur and you've exited the adjustment mode, you can then simply pedal the bike, run through all of the gears to check that they are working correctly. And at that point, if you find that the gears are still a little bit noisy or need some further adjustment, you can just press that function button again and put the bike back into the adjustment mode and make the necessary changes. To adjust the front derailleur correctly, there are 3 steps which you need to follow. Firstly, you're going to need to set the position correctly with the chain on the largest chainring on the front of your bike. And then in this position, we need to have the rear derailleur shifted into the smallest sprocket. Then we can enter into the adjustment mode, and then we're using our shifter to make small incremental adjustments to our front derailleur position to ensure that the outer plate of the front derailleur is not contacting any of the outer links of our chain, causing it to rub. We can position it so we have a small gap of about 1 millimeter or so. Once we're happy that we've got that set correctly, we can exit the adjustment mode, leave the front derailleur positioned on the large chainring, shift the rear derailleur all the way up into the largest sprocket at the back. Then we go back into adjustment mode, and this time we need to position the front derailleur accordingly with the buttons on the left-hand shifter to make sure that the inner plates of the derailleur cage are not contacting the inner surface of our chain, again causing it to rub. We want to target around a 1 millimeter gap or so. Once we're happy that that's set, exit the adjustment mode, and then we can move on to setting the position of the front derailleur on the small chainring. To do this, we need to shift into the small chainring at the front and position the rear derailleur so that it's on the largest sprocket at the back. We can then go into our adjustment mode and use the left-hand shifter to position the front derailleur so that the inner plate of the chain is not contacting the inner surface of that front derailleur, again causing it to rub, and we want to aim for about 1 millimeter gap or so. Exit the adjustment mode and you should have perfectly working gears. So all that remains is to give a run through of every different gear combination on your bike, check that you're happy and the gears are shifting correctly and running nice and quietly. If they are, happy days. If they're not, you can just go back in and make the required adjustments to get everything running perfectly smooth and crisp, and you'll be ready to hit the road again. Hope you enjoyed this maintenance video and found it particularly helpful. If you have, please give this video a big thumbs up, and remember to subscribe to GCN Tech for all things bike tech related.